Most people assume that waking up in the middle of the night to urinate is simply a normal part of aging, but that belief is not only incorrect, it's the very mistake that keeps you stuck in a frustrating, sleepless cycle. The truth is, frequent nighttime urination, also known as nocturia, is not just a bladder issue. It's a deeper, systemic misalignment between your brain, your hormones, and your body's circadian rhythm. And once you understand what's really going on, you can begin to take control of it, no matter your age. Let's begin with how the body naturally regulates urine production. During the day, your kidneys filter fluids efficiently. At night, however, your body produces a hormone called vasopressin, also known as the antidiuretic hormone, or AD. This hormone tells your kidneys to slow down urine production so you can sleep for several hours without needing to get up. But as we age, the production of ADH can decline, not because the body is broken, but because the signaling system in the brain becomes less precise, specifically the brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCNC, and fall out of sync with the 24-hour cycle. When that happens, hormone release is mistimed. You don't produce enough ADH at night, and your kidneys don't get the signal to slow down. So you wake up at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. with a full bladder, not because your bladder is weak, but because the hormonal brakes are off. So what's causing the brain to lose this synchronization? One major contributor is light exposure, particularly artificial light at night. The SCN takes its cues from light, and when you use screens or sit under bright LED in the hours before bed, your brain misinterprets that input as daytime. This suppresses melatonin in production, disrupts the sleep cycle, and reduces the production of ADH. One seemingly harmless habit, like watching TV in a brightly lit room or scrolling your phone before sleep, can completely throw off the balance between wake and sleep, between urination and rest. But there's more. Another critical, yet often overlooked, factor is the timing of hydration. Many seniors don't drink enough during the day and then try to make up for it in the evening. This results in a spike in fluid intake right before bedtime. Your kidneys, still working as if it's daytime because of circadian confusion, process this fluid instead of retaining it. The solution: load your hydration. Drink the bulk of your water intake before 3 p.m. and taper off by 6 p.m. That way, your body is well hydrated, but not overwhelmed with fluids at a time when it should be winding down. And then there's the role of the nervous system. Sleep is not just a passive state. It's a regulated shift into parasympathetic dominance, the rest and digest mode of your autonomic nervous system. But many people go to bed with their sympathetic system still active. The fight or flight mode, stress, stimulating TV shows, late night meals, and even intense conversations can keep you wired. And when your sympathetic nervous system is active, bladder sensitivity increases. You become more likely to wake at even the slightest signal from the bladder, even if it's not truly full. Simple practices like slow breathing, gentle stretching, and reducing screen time can help shift you into a parasympathetic state and reduce nighttime awakenings. What all this means is simple, yet profound. Waking up to pee at night is not something you must accept as part of getting older. It's a signal from your body that your internal systems are out of sync. With small adjustment, stymieing your water intake, managing your exposure to light, calming your nervous system, you can sleep through the night again. The biggest mistake is assuming it's inevitable. The truth is, with knowledge and daily practice, you can change the outcome, and it begins with understanding the science behind your sleep. One of the most frustrating parts of aging for many people is the frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom. Waking up at 1 a.m., 3 a.m., or even multiple times in the night to urinate not only disrupts sleep, but also impacts energy, mood, and memory during the day. Most people assume this is simply a normal part of getting older, but that belief is not just mistaken, it's counterproductive. Waking up to pee at night is not inevitable. It is often the result of a single physiological misalignment, and once you understand the cause, you can begin to reverse it. Let's start with your body's natural rhythms. At the core of your sleep-wake cycle is your circadian clock, located deep in the brain in an area called the suprachiasmatic nucleus SCN. This internal clock controls not only when you feel sleepy or awake, but also regulates vital hormonal rhythms, including those that affect your kidneys and bladder. At night, your brain releases a hormone called vasopressin, or antidiuretic hormone ADH, which signals the kidneys to slow down urine production. This is the mechanism that normally allows a person to sleep through the night without needing to get up. But as we age, this timing system can fall out of sync. The common belief is that the decline of ADH is a natural consequence of aging. However, the truth is more nuanced. It's not just about aging, it's about how modern habits, especially in the evening, interrupt the signals your brain depends on to produce ADH at the right time. Artificial light is a major culprit. The SCN relies on light exposure to know what time of day it is. When you expose your eyes to artificial lighting, especially bright white or blue spectrum light in the evening, your brain becomes confused. It thinks it's still daytime and delays melatonin in release, disrupts sleep onset, and blunts the secretion of ADH. This is why watching TV, scrolling your phone, or reading under harsh LED lights close to bedtime can cause you to wake up in the middle of the night. Your brain thinks you should still be awake and functioning. But light isn't the only factor. One of the most overlooked mistakes people make is when they drink their fluids. Many older adults naturally become less thirsty during the day and then try to hydrate in the evening, sometimes unconsciously. This leads to an increase in fluid volume in the body at the exact time when your kidneys are supposed to slow down. Instead of helping your body prepare for restful sleep, late night hydration gives the kidneys a signal to stay active. That extra glass of water, tea, or even soup with dinner can result in a 2 a.m. bathroom visit. The timing of hydration matters just as much as the quantity. Ideally, most fluid intake should occur between the time you wake up and mid-afternoon. After 6 p.m., hydration should taper off significantly to give your kidneys time to adjust and slow down. Now, even when light and hydration are properly managed, another critical factor still plays a role: your nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, which governs involuntary actions like heart rate, digestion, and yes, bladder function, is divided into two branches: sympathetic fight or flight and parasympathetic rest and digest. During the day, the sympathetic system is active, but at night, the body should switch into parasympathetic dominance to support sleep. Unfortunately, for many seniors, the sympathetic system remains overactive into the night. Evening stress, mental rumination, late news consumption, or even heavy meals can keep your body on high alert. When the sympathetic system is active, the bladder becomes more sensitive to even small amounts of fluid, triggering premature urges to urinate. The body wants to rest, but when the brain thinks it's under threat, it will prioritize survival systems even in the middle of the night. That's why breathwork, meditation, gentle stretching, or even a warm foot soak before bed can reset your nervous system and shift you toward a state that supports deep, undisturbed sleep. Understanding this is not just about solving a sleep issue. It's about reclaiming your nights, your energy, and your brain function during the day. The mistake is believing this is something you must live with. In reality, it's something you can change. Many older adults believe waking up at night to urinate is simply part of aging. They accept it as unavoidable, but science tells a different story. In reality, one major mistake, assuming nocturnal urination is normal, prevents people from making simple adjustments that could dramatically improve sleep quality. Waking to urinate isn't just about the bladder or prostate. It's a reflection of how well your brain and body are in sync with the 24-hour cycle of nature. Once we dig deeper into the brain-body connection, we uncover opportunities to restore uninterrupted sleep, even into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. At the center of this story is your circadian rhythm, governed by a tiny region of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN. This master clock controls not just when you sleep and wake, but also when your organs function, how hormones are released, and how the kidneys behave. One of the critical functions the SCN regulates is the production of vasopressin, a hormone that tells the kidneys to slow down urine production at night. Normally, when the sun sets, melatonin begins to rise, and shortly after, vasopressin is released, helping you retain fluids so you can sleep through the night. But many seniors experience disruptions in this process, not because their bodies have failed, but because their routines and environments are sending the wrong signals to the brain. One of the biggest disruptors of this hormonal signaling is light. Not natural light, but artificial light. When we expose our eyes to screens, TVs, or bright indoor lighting after sundown, the brain delays melatonin in release and blunts the production of vasopressin. As a result, your kidneys don't get the message to reduce urine output, and your bladder fills during hours it should be at rest. A seemingly harmless habit, like checking your email at 9 p.m. or watching the news in a brightly lit room, sends your biological clock the wrong message. Your brain thinks it's still daytime, and that confusion keeps your body in a state of alertness instead of restoration. To correct this, you don't need expensive pills or equipment. You need a consistent wind-down routine that reduces light exposure and supports melatonin and vasopressin in release. Start dimming lights an hour before bed. Use amber bulbs or candlelight. Avoid screens, or if you must use them, wear blue, blocking glasses. The brain's clock is highly sensitive to light. Even 5-10 minutes of the right kind of darkness can signal your body to begin producing the hormones that help you sleep deeply and keep you from waking to use the bathroom. But light isn't the only piece of the puzzle. Another common but underestimated mistake is late dehydration. The kidneys don't stop working just because it's dark outside. They follow hormonal cues and fluid levels. If you drink a lot of water, tea, or even eat high water foods like soup and fruit late in the day, your kidneys must continue processing that fluid well into the night. That means more urine production and more pressure on the bladder while you sleep. By shifting your hydration schedule, consuming most of your fluids between waking and mid-afternoon, you reduce the amount of fluid the kidneys have to handle overnight. After 6 p.m., aim to taper off your intake. This single change can dramatically reduce nocturnal awakenings. Finally, we have to address the nervous system. Every night, your body should transition from sympathetic dominance, alert mode, into parasympathetic mode, rest mode. However, many seniors live in a constant state of low-level stress. They carry the events of the day into the night. This stress activates the sympathetic nervous system and increases bladder sensitivity. Even if your bladder isn't full, the brain becomes more reactive to signals from the body, making you feel like you need to urinate. This can create a feedback loop where stress causes light sleep. Light sleep increases bladder awareness, and that awareness wakes you up. You can break this cycle by implementing nightly relaxation protocols. Deep breathing like 4-7-8 breathing, gentle stretching, and calming rituals like journaling or soft music can calm the nervous system. The goal is to shift your body from high alert to deep restoration, because when the body is calm, the bladder is calm. You don't need a full bladder to trigger a bathroom trip. What you need is a calm, regulated brain. This isn't just about improving sleep. It's about preserving cognitive function, heart health, and emotional well-being. It starts with correcting the mistake of accepting nocturnal urination as normal aging. Once you understand that your brain and body can be trained to work in harmony again, you reclaim a powerful piece of your vitality, one peaceful night at a time. It often begins gradually, a night here or there where you wake up needing to pee. Then it becomes a pattern. Night after night, you find yourself interrupting your sleep, walking to the bathroom, hoping to fall back asleep quickly. For many seniors, this becomes a frustrating routine that chips away at energy, focus, and quality of life. And yet, the greatest mistake is not the nighttime urination itself. It's the belief that this is a normal part of aging. In reality, waking up to pee is almost always the result of a correctable disruption in the relationship between your brain, your hormones, and your habits. When these systems become misaligned, the body sends the wrong signals at the wrong time. But with knowledge and a few small changes, you can restore balance and reclaim uninterrupted rest. At the root of this disruption is a breakdown in the circadian rhythm, the body's internal 24-hour clock. This clock, governed by a part of the brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus SCN, dictates when to sleep, when to wake, and when to produce key hormones. One such hormone is vasopressin, also called antidiuretic hormone ADH, which plays a crucial role in controlling urine production. During healthy sleep cycles, vasopressin levels rise at night, telling the kidneys to hold onto water and slow down urine output. This allows you to sleep for 6 to 8 hours without interruption. However, if the brain doesn't get the message to release enough vasopressin at night, the kidneys continue producing urine at their daytime rate, filling your bladder even while you're trying to sleep. What causes the brain to miss this signal? One of the biggest offenders is artificial light. As we age, our sensitivity to light changes, but the core biology remains the same. Light after sunset sends the brain a message that it's still daytime. Bright lighting in the home, the glow of smartphones and televisions, and even LED bulbs can delay the release of melatonin, in the hormone that signals the beginning of your sleep window, and suppress vasopressin in production as well. This means your body's internal systems are still running in day mode while you're trying to rest. Over time, this mismatch becomes chronic. The kidneys don't slow down, the bladder keeps filling. You wake up over and over again, thinking this is just what aging looks like. The solution begins with managing your light exposure. 1 hour before bed, begin dimming the lights around your home. Replace cool white bulbs with warm, amber ones in your bedroom and living areas. Avoid screens or use blue light filters or amber glasses. These simple changes tell the SCN that night has arrived, allowing your body to begin producing melatonin and vasopressin in their natural rhythm. It doesn't require expensive interventions, just awareness and discipline. Restoring that hormonal timing gives your kidneys the right message and your bladder the break it needs. Another underestimated factor is hydration timing. Most people focus on how much they drink but give little attention to when they drink. Many seniors tend to underhydrate throughout the day, leading to thirst later in the evening. Drinking water, tea, or even eating watery fruits and soups late in the day puts more fluid into the system at the exact time your kidneys are trying to power down. Instead of resting, they're forced to stay active. The result, a full bladder in the middle of the night. This can be addressed by simply loading your hydration. Make sure the majority of your fluid intake happens in the first half of the day. Between wake up and 3 p.m., aim to get 75% of your daily fluids. Then begin tapering off. By 6 or 7 p.m., reduce fluids significantly. This trains your body to function in harmony with your circadian rhythms. Lastly, stress and nervous system activation play a more important role than most people realize. Even if you get the light and hydration right, if your nervous system is overstimulated before bed, your body stays in a semi-alert state. The sympathetic nervous system, the fight or flight mode, keeps your muscles tight, your brain alert, and your bladder more reactive to minor signals. It only takes a small amount of urine to trigger a bathroom trip when your nervous system is on high alert. This is why calming the body is essential. Gentle stretching, slow nasal breathing, soft music, or mindfulness practices 30-60 minutes before bed can help shift your nervous system into parasympathetic mode, the rest and digest state. In this mode, the brain becomes less reactive, the bladder less sensitive, and the sleep more restorative. What's empowering is this: none of these strategies are extreme or difficult. They simply require attention to your environment, your schedule, and your biology. The mistake isn't in your body, it's in the belief that you can't change your nights. The truth is, your sleep can still be trained, supported, and protected. You have more control than you've been told. Waking up to urinate during the night may seem like an unavoidable reality of getting older, but what if the problem isn't age at all? What if the real issue lies in a small handful of everyday habits that confuse your body's natural systems? This is the mistake many seniors unknowingly make, believing that interrupted sleep is something they have to accept. In truth, frequent nighttime urination, or nocturia, is often the result of a misalignment in your circadian rhythm, hydration patterns, hormone signaling, and nervous system regulation. And once these areas are realigned, restful, uninterrupted sleep is not only possible, it becomes your new normal. Your body operates on a 24-hour internal clock known as the circadian rhythm. This biological timing system controls everything from energy levels and hormone release to digestion and urination. At night, your body is designed to slow down specific functions so you can rest, restore, and repair. One of these slowed down functions is kidney filtration. Under healthy conditions, the brain releases a hormone called vasopressin, and also known as antidiuretic hormone in the evening. This hormone instructs the kidneys to retain water, reducing the volume of urine produced during sleep. But for many seniors, this hormonal release becomes inconsistent, leading to higher urine production at night. The result, a full bladder that wakes you up, often more than once. The underlying cause of this disruption often begins with light. Light is the most powerful cue your circadian rhythm receives. Natural sunlight in the morning helps your brain lock in a strong 24-hour cycle, but the problem arises in the evening. Artificial lighting, especially the bright white or blue light from TV, phones, and LED bulbs, tricks your brain into thinking it's still daytime. This delays melatonin in production, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep, and suppresses vasopressin as well. So not only do you fall asleep later, but your body also fails to slow urine production, leading to more frequent wake-ups. To reset this rhythm, light hygiene must become a core part of your evening routine. About an hour before bed, dim the lights throughout your home, use warm toned bulbs, turn off overhead fixtures, and switch to lamps with amber lighting. If you must use a screen, enable night mode or wear blue light, blocking glasses. The goal is to simulate a sunset in your home, signaling to your brain that nighttime has arrived. When your eyes send that message, your brain begins producing the sleep and water, conserving hormones naturally, without pills, just biology working as it was designed to. Just as critical as light is hydration timing. Many people, especially seniors, don't drink enough water throughout the day. They remember to hydrate late, after dinner, before bed, intentionally overloading their system right before sleep. This pushes fluid into circulation during the hours when your kidneys should be winding down. Instead, they're working overtime. You can fix this by front-loading hydration. Aim to drink the bulk of your fluids between morning and early afternoon. After 6 p.m., reduce intake significantly. This gives your kidneys time to process fluids before bed and aligns with the body's natural drop-in filtration rate during nighttime hours. Beyond light and hydration, there's another hidden contributor to nighttime urination, your nervous system. Stress, even low-grade background stress, activates the sympathetic nervous system, which puts your body into a state of alert. When you go to bed with stress still in your system, your brain becomes more reactive to minor bodily signals, including bladder fullness. Even a partially filled bladder can feel urgent when your nervous system is dysregulated. That's why winding down is essential. Begin a calming pre-sleep routine, soft music, deep breathing, gentle stretching, or journaling. These techniques activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch responsible for rest and digestion. In this state, your bladder sensitivity decreases and the urge to wake up diminishes. Finally, the most important correction of all is your mindset. The mistake is believing that these nightly awakenings are just your new reality. They're not. They are signs that your body is out of rhythm, not broken. The body responds incredibly well to consistent routines, proper light exposure, hydration timing, and nervous system support. The beauty of this is that it doesn't require medication, expensive equipment, or complicated strategies. It just requires that you stop treating this problem as permanent and start treating it as solvable. You can sleep through the night again. Your brain and body are capable of syncing back up, restoring balance, and letting you rest deeply. It starts with seeing the root of the problem clearly, and then making small, consistent changes that work *with* your biology, not against it.